So even if doesn't produce a president, it should be in a strong position to occupy the next most important position. And we must go as a bloc, because our unity as a bloc is what will allow us to negotiate better positions in the next formations for 2022.
Interesting. I told you, a day in politics is such a long time. That is Peter Kenneth Makiu. He's a former presidential candidate. They are talking about the interest of the Mount Kenya region. And of course, it is the region that produced the current President Uhuru Kenyatta. And a lot of talk has been there concerning who should succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta, and also expectations as to whether the region is going to present their own candidate who is going to take over from President Uhuru Kenyatta. But you've heard there from Peter Kenneth Kosgei. He's talking about, you know, even if it is not the top seat, yes, at least a powerful position.
We should be at the table.
At least, you know.
Yes.
What do you think about his sentiments, first of all?
Well, his sentiments are meant to reach the Mount Kenya people, who seem to be like a flock of, do you say a flock of sheep? Yes. Sheep that don't have a leader. Because Uhuru Kenyatta has not been keen to solidify his presence in Mount Kenya. And there are accusations to the deputy president that he has taken Mount Kenya. And Mount Kenya is being wrestled back from whichever quarter that is being wrestled back from. So these are things that Mount Kenya should be talking about before going to the Debe. There are very many surprising things that happen in Mount Kenya. One is Sagana 1, Sagana 2, Sagana 3. Sagana 3 showed us that Mount Kenya can still be wooed back, because we saw Mount Kenya speaking in one voice.
I'm surprised you're saying that President Uhuru Kenyatta sort of has not really rubber-stamped his authority in that region based on the Sagana 3 that you're just talking about right now.
Well, according to polls, Uhuru Kenyatta has been aloof from Mount Kenya. He has been away from Mount Kenya, away from his region. So he became unpopular for a certain time. For some time.
But what did you read from Sagana 3? He was
what
there,
I read from Sagana 3 was a dedicated move to woo the Mount Kenya leaders back to himself, so that he can influence what is going to come in 2022. What Peter Kenneth is saying, he is just backing what Uhuru Kenyatta did. He might be a mouthpiece of Uhuru Kenyatta. When you talk about voting as a bloc, that is tribal politics coming into play. We're voting as Kikuyus, and we want to be on the table as Kikuyus. Sometimes you tend to ask yourself, you as a Kikuyu, are you really on that table? Do you benefit from a presidency going to a certain region? That is what Wananchi should be asking themselves when Peter Kenneth is talking from President Kenyatta's view, you know. So politicians are reorganizing themselves, but people might dismiss Peter Kenneth. He might say that the region has decided, and they have decided to go another direction.
Let me just probe you on something, even as you continue.
Yes.
Let's look deeper into what he was saying.
Yes.
Do you think he is the man?
Peter Kenneth for now might not be the man. For now.
Why not?
But Peter Kenneth has been an MP of Gatanga for a very long time, and his politics has been played in Gatanga. His record in Gatanga as MP is outstanding, and he is an alumni of Starehe, one of the bright people we have in this country. But he has played community politics. Away from Gatanga, no. You cannot sell Peter Kenneth successfully in Luoland.
He has been a presidential candidate before.
You cannot take Peter Kenneth to Coast and sell him successfully. Peter Kenneth has to be repackaged. In politics, there is repackaging and there is dirtifying. Peter Kenneth has to be repackaged as a national leader so that he can stand out. Otherwise, we will be seeing a Kikuyu kingpin trying to come out. And we want them, Kenyans would want them to compete amongst themselves so that they can give Kenya the best from Kikuyu land. Or they can repackage someone. Peter Kenneth has chances, but he has to be changed.
All right.
He has to be changed.
Well said. But then whoever it may, because what he's proposing is that the region cannot just sit and wait. They need to come up with somebody who is going to represent the interests of that particular region.
They have to hurry. They have to hurry.
They have to hurry. There's no time, right?
There's no time to waste.
In the event that that happens, whoever it is going to be, we do not know, but whoever it is going to be, what will this mean for the political cards the Deputy President William Ruto is playing in the region?
In our country, we usually have top contenders, those who are top, and those who are thinking to go to the top. They're aspiring to be the top, and the top. No one. If you live in our country, you know the two top. Raila has not really declared that he's going to be in the ballot, but he has suggested. His body language is saying he's going to be in the ballot, but he has not told anyone. William Ruto has said it expressly. So for now,
that is in the public
let us cut the two top. Raila Odinga, William Ruto. Done. Any other is an aspiring to be the top. And if you are aspiring to be the top, then you have to change yourself a lot to have a national outfit.
Talk about Raila Odinga.
Yes.
He has not come out to outrightly say that he's going to vie in 2022. He's going to be on that ticket.
Yes.
But Raila recently met with Kivutha Kibwana, Mukisa Kitui. These are both presidential people who have expressed interest in vying for presidency. And this is also coming. A few days later, he goes ahead and says he's not going to endorse any of his NASA core principles. What is happening from how you analyze this? What could be happening?
Mukisa Kitui is a new entrant. Dr. Mukisa Kitui. That name first gives him, it gives him an edge in the politics, because when you are given such a heart of doctor, Kenyans tend to think that you know more. Now, Mukisa Kitui came to run as president. You can read two things. One, he came out of his own, he volunteered to run as president, or he is a spoiler of the Western region. He might be a stooge for Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta to split the Western region, or he might be coming himself to run for presidency out of love for the country. The meeting of Raila Odinga and Mukisa Kitui is suspect. How can rivals meet to plot for what?
Raila has not said that he's going to vie.
No, yes, he has not said. But when we started, I told you, could you please read what has not been said?
His body language.
What has not been said? When I'm talking here, there is something I'm not saying, and I'm saying it.
Yes.
So when you look at the politicians, look at what they are not saying. Raila Odinga is not saying a lot, but he's going to influence everything, not one thing. Everything in the ballot that you're going to line up. It will dictate whether the ODM fraternity, because there is no more NASA. NASA died. So we just called NASA ODM because ODM formed 70% of NASA. So it is going to dictate how ODM is going to vote. And ODM might be half the country, going by the handshake. Might be. And then you give those other people that other half. Raila Odinga might use Kivutha Kibwana and Mukisa Kitui to spoil. Yeah. And these people have not been serious in running to the ground. Since Mukisa Kitui came into the country, what has he done? He has gone to see Raila. We have not seen much activities. You should be seen in the newspapers.
Conversations about coalition. When you want to vie for such a powerful position, you talk to political friends, you try to marshal support.
You come for a coalition from UN? Really?
You know, I mean,
you resign?
Freedom of meeting and talking to like-minded Kenyans.
First, he should have done his groundwork. He should have leveled the ground. He should have first shown his presence in the ground. He should have fought first. After that, now, let's talk coalition. Don't come into the kitchen for coalition again.
I've always been curious about this man, Musalia Mudavadi.
Yes.
Many have termed him a sober mind. Sort of that can really cool down the heated political temperature in this particular country. What do you think about his presidential bid, though?
Now, Musalia Mudavadi has been a local leader. You can call him a village leader.
He has been a deputy president.
Yeah, he has been even a deputy prime minister. We don't refuse.
Why call him a local leader then?
Because he has been playing his politics locally. Luhya nation has been divided for the longest time possible, and Musalia Mudavadi has not been able to bring the Luhya community together. A month or 2 or 3 months ago, they were being urged to come together, Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi, in order to solidify the Luhya nation. Why didn't Musalia do this before? If he has iron, if he's a man who can be trusted to lead a community, if we start talking about community politics, why? Luhyas need someone who is strong, who is a strong contender in front, who can fight even the local leaders, who can straighten the community. Right now, I'm sorry to say that you cannot trust Luhyas to vote for you because they have not been given direction. Everyone has their own direction. People call it democracy in the Luhya nation. People call it freedom to choose. But others say that if you want to depend on the Luhya community for your presidency, then you're lost. You just have to go there, talk to them, and hope that they will come. So Musalia has not come out strongly to lead the Luhya nation. And right now, I can tell you for a fact, Luhya nation is still thinking twice about Musalia Mudavadi.
But you seem to be kind of mixing up yourself, because earlier when we were talking about the Mount Kenya region and the proposal by Peter Kenneth to move as one block, you termed that tribal politics.
Yes, I did.
When it is happening in the Western Kenya region, where each and every person is free to go whichever direction they want to go, I mean, where do you stand on this particular matter?
I said the perception of the political leaders and the perception of the country is that Luhya cannot be trusted to stand as one nation. But people argue, I said, people argue that Luhyas don't stand because there is democracy in the Luhya nation. So, politics, tribal politics in Kenya have always taken center stage. Do we encourage tribal politics? No. Do we have tribal politics? Yes. Should we continue tribal politics? No. Are we going to continue? Yes. Kenya is so tribal. When you mention your second name, I know where you come from. I know which region you come from.
The name betrays.
And right now, you have thought about, hey, Kosgei. Kosgei might be a supporter of Ruto. You see, stereotype. Kenya is a political country, so we have to accept that we are tribal. We have to accept that we see each other in tribal's eyes. And we have to solve it from that angle, not condemning tribalism. We have to solve it from that angle. So, to finalize on Musalia Mudavadi, he should repackage himself. When I see Mudavadi, I see a Luhya leader. He should repackage himself that when he comes to Rift Valley, we will be comfortable with him. The Rift Valley supported Raila Odinga in 2007 and any other part of the country, including Northeastern and in Coast, because Raila Odinga has always been a national leader.
All right, let's leave that there. The political subjects can go on and on the whole day.
Yes.
I want us to touch another political hot button here.
Yes.
I mean, was it an empty promise, though? But let me just take you through this.
Yes.
Just days after the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Chair Lynn Mengich gave a green light for governors to effect the conversion of the car loan into car grants for members of the county assemblies. The Control of Budget has come out and is raising fundamental questions about this. And she wrote a letter to the Chief Executive Officer, Anne Gitau. And this was actually cautioning that most counties budgeted for a car loan and not a grant. I'll just quote part of this particular letter for our viewers to understand some of the issues being raised by the Controller of Budgets. And this says that some counties are operating one mortgage and car loan fund for the staff and members of the county assembly. It should be noted that in some counties, the kitty is currently not fully funded, so money issues there as well. And in others, the car loan facility is being implemented through a legislation enacted to create a revolving fund. These legislations do not provide for issuance of car grants, so legal issues also being raised there. And of course, also there was one that, legal experts initially, after President Uhuru Kenyatta gave this promise, were actually saying that even in the event that there was legal backing for this, it would only take effect for those who will be elected in the next general election, not for the current sitting MCAs and nominated MCAs. So I'll just, finish up. We therefore seek your clarification on how to convert the car loan facility into a car grant benefit, taking into consideration the scenarios raised and how to treat the interest so far repaid by beneficiaries. Remember, it was a car loan, Kosgei.
Yes.
And some MCAs had already started facilitating these car loans. They had paid, some maybe they have not completed the whole loan, but they had repaid part of it with interest. So how do you treat those ones? How do you treat those unique cases now that it has been converted into a grant? These are questions that the Control of Budget is asking SRC, even after they have approved the promise by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, what, first of all, do you read from how the twists and turns that this car grant conversation is taking right now?
One, SRC had given an okay to the counties to get their car grant. But there was a facility before called car loan. Car loan was supposed to be paid back. And the facility called car loan had been turned into something else. You see, they are talking about mortgages.
Yes.
And you see, they are talking about merry-go-round, revolving fund.
Yes.
And usually in budgets, as accountants will agree to me, there is a budget vote first. And after that, there is a budget item. The budget item is voted for. And when it is voted for, there are two things. There is a car loan and the car grant. Those are two budget items that were voted for. The president gave an order to SRC to make available a car grant when there is an existing car loan conflicting.
This car loan was to be converted into a grant. That's from my understanding.
How do I put it?
That is the question that actually the Control of Budget is asking, to be advised on how this is going to happen. How exactly is this going to happen?
It is like when I give you land and then you develop land. You build a school. And then later I come and tell you that land that land should be converted into a field, and you've already built a school. Then you have to reshape the land, and you have to do other things. You have to remove the buildings. That is what is happening to the car loan.
So are these issues raised by the Control of Budget fundamental?
Yes, they are very fundamental. And if that Control of Budget would not have raised the issue, then we would have seen that there was going to be lack of competence. Every governor should ask the Control of Budget for some budgetary allocation before spending on a budgetary item. It should be asked, and it should be a written permission to the counties to use a certain amount of money, because that is the work of the control of budget. And Kagrand. But Uhuru Kenyatta did not see this coming. He did not see this coming. He thought that the hurdle was, there was no more hurdle after SRC. And every Kenyan looked at SRC first. That SRC first objected to the car loan. And right now, it is agreeing to the car loan. What happened?
What happened? That's exactly the question. Because in this country, we have legal minds.
Yes.
Many of them who could have advised us on this before we made a decision.
Yes.
In this country, we have institutions that have been put in place, you know, to shepherd such a process.
Yes.
Why then are we here? It is very painful if you promise me something and then the next day you come and say there are queries and this could delay or this could not happen at the end of the day. I mean, it's really painful.
Let us talk about legal minds.
To be broken.
A legal perspective is a perspective. If we had a lawyer here, you'd hear them saying something different from another lawyer who would have been seated here. So legal opinion usually varies from where you sit. If you come from the Rift Valley, you can try to argue to the direction of the DP. If you come from Nyanza, you can try to argue. So legal minds aside, institutions. Let's talk about the courts. The courts were pushed to the corner until they yielded. Did you see Maraga complaining that they are not given whatever is enough for them to run the courts? Can you trust the institutions? No. The commissions. Mengich, the chairperson, had to do it. The president is not a joke. The presidency is not a joke. Leah Mengich had to do it. And she had to come up with the reasons why she had to do it. She had to convince the nation that she had to do that. So whatever you sit in a commission or whichever way, let us tell the truth.
All right. Kosgei, I want us to understand how this is going to be interpreted.
Yes.
Tomorrow is what the pro-BBI team is terming Super Tuesday.
Yes.
Super Tuesday for BBI, as 21 counties vote on the bill. Actually, they're expected to debate on the bill. I mean, is this going to have any impact? Because initially there were already talks that this could have been a sweetener for this particular process. Is it even true that it was, from your own lenses?
Well, a Super Tuesday will be super indeed. Because
I don't know why I read mischief in your statement, but
do you?
Go on.
No mischief. Super Tuesday will be super indeed, because there was an agreement between the proponents of the BBI and the voters, who are the MCAs, to pass it on a certain condition that they are given money. The government has fulfilled their end. And they have said, we have given you money, 2 million, but they have been taxed at 30%. So let's talk about 1.4 million. And the government has given 2 million. The stories about budget control, the control of budget, let's leave it aside. That will work.
Okay, so
the president will make sure. So tomorrow is a Super Tuesday.
What do you predict tomorrow? So far, I believe it's about 11 counties that have voted for the BBI bill. Tomorrow, what do you predict?
Now,
will it be a Super Tuesday?
MCAs have to be honest. They have eaten the money, so they have to vote. Even they'll be guilty. It will be a Super Tuesday.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kosgei, for your time.
Thank you so much.
That has been Eye on Politics. Like we always say right here, when we're talking about political matters, we never end. We just put a comma and we pick it up in another platform.